Good morning, everyone. How are you today? Welcome to PFthinks. This is episode 25. So it's been 25 days that we started this. I'm so sorry. I'm coming your way a little bit late today. I had very busy yesterday and finished the class at 10 o'clock. It took me another 1.5 hours, thereabout to try and catch a short nap, and here we are. Apparently my alarm bell did not ring, so I'm so sorry. If you waited for me at 3 o'clock and I didn't come on time, so I'm so sorry. So today I'm going to be trying to answer the question, how do I find my calling? So we started a series on mind your business, and today I've titled this particular subtitled finding your calling. Now, so yesterday I started out by saying that everyone has got his business. So I'm sure you have not forgotten that. Everyone has got his business. That was the first thing I said yesterday. So whether you know it, you don't know it, well, you've got a business, right? And when I talk about business, I'm not talking about, what you're doing to be profitable. Good morning. So sorry for coming a little bit late. Okay, everyone has got a business very clearly. You need to understand that yesterday. So I said number two, not everyone will discover their business. Not everyone will discover their business. Pastor. Number three, the tragedy of life is being busy without being in business. Now, business and business are not the same thing at all. Business and business are not the same thing. A lot of people are busy, but they are not in business, right? So they are busy doing what they can't understand. So I see a lot of people, doing several things. Sometimes I just find people maybe in a religious outfit or somewhere else. I know that something is fundamentally wrong. If your eye is single, your whole body will be full of light. That's what scripture says. To say that when you have found something, right, and you focus on it and your heart is always there, you're thinking about it all the time, right, your whole body will be full of light. That I found family life, and if you wake me up in the middle of the night, I'm ready to go. I know what I need to know. Even though there's a lot more to know, but I am an original in my field, right? You will hardly see me copy, right? In fact, when people come to my library and they see that there are not so many books on family life in my library, they are shocked, right? They see all kinds of other books, and it's very simple, right? That as much as I have a lot of books, I have some books on family life. The thing is, I read some of those books because I want to compare my discovery, with what has been written before me, maybe more or less like literature review. Because I hate to sound like anyone, and I hate to be perceived as someone who copies people, right? So I am very careful, selectively careful what I read. In fact, there was a time I did a research and I created what is called marital formation. And I'd done that, I've created it. Then someone gave me a book by John Gray, and I could almost me and hacked into my system. This was many years ago. The only difference was that where I used football, he used baseball. And that was when I realized that there's nothing on something that you are researching that you are the only one researching it, right? So that's the way it works, right? So that when you find your place, you become a book that other people read. But if you have not found your place, you will need to read other people's book for the rest of your life. They're going to grade you. They're going to set exams for you. After you are child, you create another level, so they'll keep creating new things for you. So humanity needs to pause and ask yourself every time that I leave, where exactly am I jogging to, right? Where am I living my life to? Everything I'm doing right now, right? If I continue doing it for the next 30 years of my life, where is it going to land me? A lot of people don't ask that question. So they the same thing even when they cannot lead to where they need to get to. Okay, number four, I said the measurement of business is in your result, which is manifest in lack of fulfillment. That every time you do something and you still feel a little, that is business, right? Because when you are in your business, you will have a sense of fulfillment. I finished the session yesterday. I was so drained, because it took a whole lot out of me. But guess what? my life. I love it so much, right? I love knowledge. I love information. I love dishing out information. I love helping people find clarity about their lives. So when there is lack of fulfillment within you, you are busy, right? There is nothing wrong with being busy on your way to finding your business, right? But when business become a way of life and it's not going to live in the direction of your business is not found outside of you. It is found in you. As a matter of fact, it's found in your hands. All right. The person asked me yesterday, how do I find my business? How do I find my calling? I'm going to try to answer that question, today. So follow me carefully, right? So oftentimes what people can do, what they should be doing with their lives is very, very clear. It's closer enough to them, but they would rather go elsewhere. As a matter of fact, people commend you for it. So if you have seen the movie Three Idiots, Rancho said something. He said, you are an idiot. He said, you love photography, but you are getting married to engineering. I'll repeat that. He said, he said, this idiot loves photography, but is getting married to engineering. I think he was talking about Raju. Was it Raju? Farhan. I think it was Raju, right? Farhan. He loves photography, but the guy was in engineering school because his parents imposed it on him. That I always ask the question, if you don't go to school, what would you have done with your life? Because sometimes education can be a diversion, right? Education is supposed to sharpen your business. It's not supposed to give it to you, right? But a lot of people, the greatest impediment certificate and the course they study. I studied accounting. It was a wrong course from year 2. I knew that, right? Because I don't like calculation. But the only reason I was studying accounting was because my mentor or my uncle, who was the richest person I knew, was an accountant. He was the MD of Cooperative Bank, and that was what he studied. So I just assumed that rich people needed to study accounting, right? If I knew better, I would have studied psychology. But I just thought, no, psychology will not make you rich. So I focused on my uncle, and I turned his life into my life, right? But your business is found in your hand. I've always been counseling people. I remember my father would have visitors, and I'll sit with them to counsel them. I'll be interjecting in what they're saying, and my father would send me away to say, get out of here. Children don't interfere in what adults are doing, right? I've always done that, but my father I was on campus, and I spent more time in counseling people. I should have focused on what my parents sent me there to do, but it's a reflection that passion cannot be taken away out of your life, So a lot of you, if you check your hand, what you're supposed to be doing with life is very close to you. You do it effortlessly. You think about it all the time. Knowledge comes to you. Any field you are in, that ideas does not come naturally, that you have to depend on someone else's brain to know what to do, is not your place, right? Maybe you are a space holder, and that's not bad, because before you find your place, whatever your hands find to do it with all thy diligence, but ensure that you are going in a particular direction. Ensure that you are a space holder going somewhere to find yourself, right? But when you stay there because of salary for the rest of life, something is fundamentally wrong. The first job I got post university was a bank job, that my uncle was going to get for me. I ran away because I didn't want to be a banker. I ran away, literally ran away from home, right? Then they were going to get me a job in telecoms. I ran away, right? I didn't want to do anything that would take me away from my calling. Eventually, when I found a volunteering job with the late Bimbo Dukoya, right, I grabbed it. Even though the pay was low, right, I was happy to do it. I've always loved to solve problems for people. I've always loved to build systems for people, and that was what I did. I'm an interpreter of your confusion, right? I'm an interpreter of your confusion. If you are confused, I'll bring you clarity, and I'll help you set up a system to be yourself. I have zero tolerance for mediocrity, so I can confront anyone who seeks to hold people bound, because I praise an illumination, right? I bring clarity to people. Once you are dark, once you are dull, or once you are veering off course, my life is to reset your focus and bring you back to what you'll be doing with your life. And you see, I live my life on God's terms and on my terms, right? I can take on anybody in my field. If you are going off course or you are saying what doesn't make sense, I know immediately and I'm going to tell you, right? Even though now I have learned to be diplomatic and be respectful about it. Before, I used to be very brash and brash. It was my mentor who called me and said, Praise, life is not like that, okay? Right? I have zero, before, if I sit somewhere and you are saying what doesn't make sense, I'm on my way out. It was my mentor who now taught me that, Praise, maturity is sometimes sitting in the midst of ignorance and allowing ignorance to torment you. You don't believe in ignorance, but you are calm enough, knowing fully well that the person is talking rubbish, right? But you have honored them with your presence without seeing the need to walk away, right? I have zero tolerance for mediocrity and error, right? So you will not find me there. So once you begin, you don't make sense. And see, I have the capacity, to be independent minded. So you can mentor, my leader, and you made a lot of sense for so long. The moment you don't make sense anymore, I can recognize it, right? I will not fight you, I will not put you down, but I can recognize it, and I know, which is why I learned early that the greatest carriers of error are also the greatest carriers of truth, are also the greatest carriers of error. I will not rate you based on the truth of yesterday when your today is full of error. There are so many people who used to be custodians of truth, who are peddling error during COVID-19 now. Now, unfortunately, their followers don't have the capacity to spot that their leader is off course. When a man leaves his field and he begins to, discuss something that is not relevant, that he doesn't know about, so he goes to read something and he doesn't understand it, he has not done research, and he begins to misquote or misyan. That's in Nigeria. Pardon me if you are listening to this outside of Nigeria. He begins to say what doesn't make sense, right? He begins to say what doesn't pass the test of common sense and truth. I am not going to follow you. I'm not going to peddle what you are saying, right? I have enough sense to recognize that this man is going out of course, because in your bid to drive your personal agenda, you're going to sound in error. Even though your followers know that you are in error, they are going to keep clapping for you to say, move on, move on, move on. All hail our master is happening, right? That the criteria or the prerequisite for followership cannot be ignorance. If you are following out of ignorance, you are going to become a slave that even when they are leading you inside a ditch, when your leader is now blind, you will not know. If the blind leads the blind, both of them will fall into a ditch. What Jesus was saying there is that the criteria for followership cannot be ignorance. The criteria for followership must be knowledge, right? If as a follower, you are not knowledgeable, you are already trapped. You are already been taken. Your soul has been stolen, right? But if you are knowledgeable, you are sound enough to know, yes, this is the, but you are also sound enough to know, my leader has gone out of touch. This is error. I'm not going to. Okay, so your business is not found outside of you, it's found in you. As a matter of fact, it's found in your hand. God is committed to blessing the work of your hand. Is committed to blessing the work of your hand. So what is the work of your hand? Many years ago, I left school, I was discussing football with my friends. That's what we'll do. And one day I was praying, and I heard a voice. I will bless the work of your hand. And gossip was what I was doing, right? Talking about Kanu Wanko, Jejo, right? And I realized there was nothing on my hand. Immediately, I can inspire primary school children. I started gathering them. I started going to the brothel to talk prostitutes out of prostitution, right? Because I have oratory convincing power. And I said to myself, if I can, many years ago, when I was a bad boy, I could talk any girl out of her pants. Then I concluded that I could talk anybody out of prostitution. So I went to the brothel in my Jegunle called Good Evening Street, and I started toasting prostitutes I toasted them back home. I must have worked with over 300 commercial sex workers within 3 years, right? Toasting them. I became a threat to the owners of brothel, that they had a meeting and they banned me from entering any brothel, because if I enter your brothel, you are in trouble. I'm going to toast your girls out of prostitution back home, right? God is committed to blessing the work of your hand. When you have nothing in your hand, what will God bless? A lot of us, we have something in our hand, but we are doing something else because you have been convinced, your brain has been messed up by the leaders in your life. They've put something else in your hand to begin to mind their own business, that you forget your own business, right? That and there's nothing wrong with minding someone else's business, especially when you are learning. But when you now forget yourself totally and you don't know at what point to now say, when shall I provide for my own family, right? That you now begin to mind the business of Laban for the rest of your life, that you now totally forget the whole essence of God sending you here. Something is fundamentally wrong there. Now, when you find your business, devote your life to it. When you find your business, devote your life to it. Nobody becomes great by making elective out of his main course. Many of us are busy chasing other things. We have left the kingdom, the purpose for your existence, where kingdom is the reason for your life, where kingdom is your business, right? So many of us are chasing elective. So electives are things like you want to go and dance. Yes, it's elective, right? You want to be an usher, it's elective, except that is your business wherein you plan to solve protocoling problem for the society. Let me say this to you: don't let anybody mess up with your brain, right? Because I have seen another evil on earth where people say to you that what you do from Monday to Friday, where you do what you do from Monday to Friday is your secular work, and what you do on Sunday is your work unto God. That there's no bigger error than that, right? Let me tell you, God does not differentiate. Secular means without God, right? What you do every day of your life must pass the test of worship unto God. That was what Mukesh Ambani said. Everything we produce at Reliance Holding, we lift it up and we ask. If God cannot take it, we'll not offer it to the customer. If you can't serve God through your boss, right? If you can't serve God through your boss or through your job, then you have no business doing it. So people do shoddy job from Monday to Friday. They collect salaries and now bring it to God on Sunday, and they put up their best behavior on Sunday. God must accept you before he accepts your offering. God is not weak. He's not broke. He doesn't need your money. Human beings spend your money, right? What you give, is a form of honor. As a matter of fact, it says, he that gives to the poor lends to the Lord. That when you give to the poor, you are lending to the Lord. But what is the source of the wealth you are giving to the poor, right? Is it from your sweat? Is it from what you have done or what you have not done? That if you deliver less than you have been paid on your job, integrity means you need to return part of your salary and say, I did not work for this one, right? What you actually work for is from what you must now give to the Lord. If you do shoddy job and you bring the money to the Lord, man will collect it from you. God may not collect it, right? Because he rejected Cain's attitude, not his gift, right? He accepted Abel first before his gift. That's what the Holy Book tells us, right? So you need to understand that everything you do daily is worship unto God. You better do it with all your heart, right? And not do anything anyhow, Monday to Saturday. Then you think you are going to be holy on Sunday. Stop fooling yourself, okay? Now, the purpose of your life is not follow this, because when I ask people what is the purpose of your life, where were you born, say I was born to worship God. What does that mean, right? The purpose of your life is clear, is to have dominion, and dominion is what worships God. That if you don't find your field, or you don't find the problem you were created to solve and do it with all your heart, right, you don't worship God. Follow this. Let your light, what is your light? Your illumination. What is your light? Your solution. What is your light? The problem you were created to solve. What is your light? Your talent that is processed into skill and that is commercially viable to be offered in form of product and service. Let it shine before men, which means let men see it. Let men find it useful, right? That if you can't measure it in how men use it, then you need to check. Your light becomes questionable. Let your light so shine before men, before men, before men. It must be before men. It cannot be before a few people, right? It must see your good works, that they may see your good works, they may see the result, the effect of your life, the effect of your talent, the effect of your wisdom, the effect of your product service, that when they see the effect, then they praise your Father in heaven. Every time we fly airplane, as against taking a car to Abuja, we say, wow, I thank God that I landed safely. Now, that landing is thank God for the plane that brought you. So that the founder of that plane, or the producer of that plane, that is your way of glorifying God for that person. Because if that person did not shine his light, maybe you will still be on a horse. Maybe you will still be on a donkey from Lagos to Abuja. Now, the question I always ask people of faith is this: what if the people that invent the things they invented never invented it? Think for a moment. I was somewhere and someone says, there's nothing an unbeliever can teach. And I said, shut up. I said, if unbelievers withdraw all their invention, the people you call unbeliever, even though God does not call them unbeliever, you are the one calling them unbeliever. If they withdraw their invention, many of you will go back to the Garden of Eden, because your microphone, it was invented by them. Your drums, it was invented by them. The tent was invented by them. Your suit, invented by them. Your boxers, your shoe, so what exactly are you inventing that they are using? Right? Your car, it was invented by them. The plane was invented by them. Everything you are trusting God to afford was invented by them. What are you going to invent that they are going to use? How useful is your life exactly? Right? If the usefulness of your life is just to criticize and they are colonizing people, they have agenda. What have you given to humanity? Right? So the purpose of your life, is not just to worship God. What you do for humanity must be what worships God. Worship cannot be slow songs alone. Worship must be the impact of your work in the society. Every time humanity use your product and service and they say, whoa, we thank God for this thing that was able to cure my ailments. Oh, we thank God for this clothes I'm wearing. It makes me feel good. That is worship unto God. Oh, we thank God for this book that I'm reading because it brought clarity. That is worship unto God. Every time what you have produced can help humanity, the effect of what you can produce is what worships God. Until your light begins to shine among men and they see your good works, you may be an embarrassment to when they want to fire people in your place. Are you on the firing list? If you're on the firing list, then you're an embarrassment to God. Very simple. You cannot begin to say, after all, I speak in tongue. If your tongue cannot produce superior delivery at work, you are an embarrassment to God. You are just doing mouth exercise. Because tongue is supposed to be a communion with the spirit, with the divine power that now bets superior solution. I tell people, if I speak in tongue, praise. If I speak in, every time I say I speak in tongue, you can be sure an invention is going to happen, right? I was going on my power walk yesterday after my session. I began to discover the classification in my meditation, right? And I went on and I was shocked how accurate it was, right? Did a bit of research and I was shocked. So if your Holy Ghost cannot deliver superior power, if all you are excited about the Holy Ghost is falling you down, so every time they push your head you fall down, you are an embarrassment to God, because the Holy Ghost does not fall people down. If it falls you down and your thinking does not change, your life does not change, see, you are gyrating. Let me put it that way. You are on gyration, right? If it brings you down and it brings you up and you are the same, something has gone wrong, right? Because I think we overrate falling down under the anointing in Africa, where people just fall down. Where you fall down. So when you fall down, you rise up. What has happened? So God is just gyrating and he wants to bring you down, so that you can manifest. No. Something must have been added to you and you need to find it. So you need to understand that until your light begins to shine among men, if you are work and the kingdom of your work is not on your shoulder, you are an embarrassment to God. That you are not the one responsible for the 25% of the income that comes into your organization. You must be unfireable, right? That they must want to retain you. When I dropped my resignation letter from paid employment, they rejected it. They asked me for a salary. They told me, praise, name your price, we'll pay it. Nobody loves to lose an indispensable staff, right? But when you are saying, I want to go, and they say, good riddance to bad rubbish, you need to check the power you claim you have. I think a lot of believers, a lot of people of faith, Christian, Muslim, they overrate their faith when their faith cannot produce any result for humanity, right? You can measure the manufacturer of a car. We must be able to measure whatever you are doing. God is not spooky. Everything God created can be measured. You can see the sun. You can see the moon. You can feel the air. You can stand on the land. You can drink water. Those are God's products. Is universally acceptable for humanity. What are you producing, right? A lot of people are embarrassment. We can dance and dance. So after you're dancing, what next? What has it produced, right? Good things are good, but they are inferior to the right things. Your business is the treasure of your life, right? Mine it till your discovery is thoroughly maximized and go through the whole world. Now, how do I find my calling? Now, many years ago, I had a friend, Dario Yebowale, is late now, he's passed on, right? He was my best friend on, my, like my best pal, on campus, and we used to talk about how do you find your purpose. He taught me 3D. I'll teach you about the 3 Ds, then I'll teach you something else. Then I'll shut down for today. Now, he said there are 3 ways to find your calling. He said number 1 is delivery, number 2 is discovery, and number 3 is desire. Delivery, discovery, desire. 3 Ds. I think he must have learned it from someone, right? But he taught me, right? Discovery, delivery, and desire. Now, delivery is when the divine power delivers it to you. There have been people and maybe a voice appeared to them, or God spoke to them, my son, this is what you're going to be doing with your life. Some people, they have it delivered, maybe in their dream, maybe before they were born, right? Like Jesus, his parents were told, John the Baptist, his parents were told. There are people who have said, oh, I was told when I was pregnant that this is who my child is going to become. And like the mother of Indaboski, you know Indaboski in Nigeria. If you're not in Nigeria, you may not know Indaboski, but Indaboski is a guy who is almost like an entertainer, who dances everywhere, but is a pastor, right? The mother of Indaboski said when she was pregnant of him, they said the guy is going to be a prophet, right? And maybe he's a prophet, we don't know, but at least people know him, right? Now, that is delivery. Discovery is number 2. That's the one I think a lot of people are used to, right? And it's easier. Discovery is when you check your talent, right? If you write out your talent, as a matter of fact, before you write out your talent, I need you to go and meet people that knew you before age 5. Look for 5 people or 10 people that knew you before age 5 and ask them if there is anything significant they remember about you. Right? When you were before 5, what was that? What was that? Right? Let them feed you back and write whatever they say. Look for another 5 that knew you between ages 5 to 10. Look for another 5 that knew between ages 10 to 15 and between 15 to 20, right? If you check everything they say about you that you were doing before that age, you will find something that is consistent, right? That is discovery, right? So you need to go back in time past, or you check your talent, right? Some of us are multi-talented and it becomes a problem. I used to be like you. I was multi-talented, then I met my mentor, and my mentor said to me, Praise, focus on one of your gifts and close your eyes to the rest. It was like the worst advice I've been given in my life. I almost was crying. And I said, Sir, what happens to the rest? He said, Praise, focus on one. One will take you to the market. When that one that you are focused on takes you to the market, you can now diversify because your name will now be known. Whatever carries your name will sell. It was later in life I discovered that was the best wisdom I've been given because right? But it was just clashing. I was a jack of all trades. The moment I settled for one of my giftings, that one gift, I focused on it for 7 years. People knew me. Now I can diversify into many things and people will buy it, right? Standard. So what is it that you have discovered that you are good at? Everything people celebrate, it can become a business, right? But you must not, you need to focus first before you diversify. Many people make a mistake of diversifying from the scratch. So they are selling tomato today, they are in network marketing tomorrow, they same them, they are doing singing, they same you say you are a musician, you are all in all. People think there is glory in introducing yourself with so many things. They say, who are you? Introduce yourself. You say, I'm a medical doctor, but I'm also a motivational speaker, and I'm an inspirational writer, I'm a song producer. You see, if you say that on international forum, right, nobody will do anything with you because you are just an embarrassment to them. They want specialization. So what that means is when they are thinking of the best in a particular sector, your name does not ring a bell by a jack. But if you focus on one thing, right, if you say, for example, I am Praise Forward, I'm a relationship professional or I'm a family life professional. Every time family life comes up, your name is remembered and they can call for you. right? Some of your friends don't recommend you for any big job because you are doing too many things. So when they are in the palace with the king and the king wants a musician, they can't mention your name because you are not a specialist. Music is part of what you do. They will mention someone whose life is music. When they mention, oh, we need a writer, they will mention someone else whose specialization is writing, because writing is part of what you do. It's not your main area of specialization. So you need to first specialize before you diversify. So is your dominant talent, right? That if you focus on it, you can become the best in the world. My father used to say, low aim is a crime. He would say to me, shoot for the moon. If you can't meet the moon, you will land among stars. Many of us, your quest is not going to take you anywhere, right? So you need to ask yourself, what have I discovered in my hand, right? In case you are still confused, remember this model, HAPPY. We are HAPPY, happy, right? H stands for your heart. What does your heart tells you that you are the best at? What is it that every time you are alone, your mind tells you praise? You do this so well, right? That when you see someone else do it, you can almost point out their fault. You see them acting, you can almost say, no, it's not acting properly. Anything you can analyze intelligently, and it looks like you have a measure of mastery there, maybe that is your calling. What does your heart tells you that you are the best at? See, nobody can get into your heart. You are the owner of your heart, so check your heart. That's H. A stands for your ability. By the time you check your heart, now check your hand. What is it that you do effortlessly that nobody taught you? There is something that you didn't go to school for. It comes to you naturally. You do it effortlessly. In fact, you almost do it for free. Fela Drotoye said, God's plan is for you to be paid a fee for what you were created to do for free. Is for you to be paid a fee for what you were created to do for free. So check what is it that you do effortlessly, that you can do it, forever, right? So what is that thing that you do so well, right? Answer that question and check it against the first answer. Art, ability. P is your personality. By the time you answer H and A, check your personality. Why are you an extrovert? Why are you an introvert? Right? If you check your personality, does it align with the first two, H and A? Right? There's a reason God gave you the personality. If you're an introvert, except you are a pseudo introvert, because when you have been sexually molested as a child or you lived under a difficult father, your extroverted can become introverted because another life on you. That's another ballgame entirely. But there's a reason for your introvertedness or extrovertedness. Don't apologize for it. Don't let people talk your extrovertedness down and they say you are unspiritual. No, that's who you are, right? If they can't accept you based on your uniqueness, they should find someone else, right? Then the next P is your passion. So you have answered H, A, P. The next P is your passion. What is it that you do it and you don't remember food and you don't remember time? As I jumped out of my bed, this session was supposed to be 3 a.m. As I jumped out, I put on my clothes, I was ready to go, right? Because this one, I can do it, wake me up in the middle of the night, I love to do it. I don't remember food, I don't remember time. I ate pretty late yesterday because normally I don't eat late, but once I have something to do, I lose my appetite until I'm done, right? So what is it that you do effortlessly? You forget yourself when you're doing it, right? You don't remember time, you don't remember anything, you do it if it's argument, build a business around it, right? So H is your art, A is your ability, right? That if you didn't go to school, what would you have done in your life with your life and you still have been successful? P is your personality, P is your passion, and Y is yesterday. Yesterday is what happened to you in the past that you don't want others to go through. You may find your calling in fact, your future is not in where you are going. Your future is in your past. That if you can look back at where you suffered the most, is a pointer to what you are created to do. It's a pointer to the problem you are created to solve, right? So can you look back into your past, right, and look at what you are most pained about, what you suffered the most that you don't want others to go through? That's yesterday. It will align with HAPP, right? That is how to find your calling. Now, so I've talked about discovery. I've talked about delivery. Desire is the last one. If you can't find your calling in the first D, delivery, you can't find it in discovery based on HAPPY, then desire. Mike Murdoch says, what gets you annoyed the most is a pointer to what you are created to solve. What is that problem in your environment that makes you go down on your knees, that makes you, I hate it when marriages break. I believe there is nothing called irreconcilable difference. It's only two immature people or one immature person who has decided to sabotage the other person. Or maybe they were not even meant to be together in the first place, right? So I never rule out that fact, right? So you need to understand that sometimes your desire can be a pointer to your calling, right? That what exactly is it that you are desirous of? That when you see people do it, you complain about it, right? When I was in Nigeria, I was complaining about prostitution. That why will children ages 14 and 15 be prostituting at the place called Niger Hotel or something like that? Why would they? I was literally in tears. And I said, Praise, you can do something about it. And I went there, right? And I began to toast them out of prostitution, right? And I moved there from Good Evening Street. I toasted a lot of girls out of. That was where the first time I got on TV, that was what I was doing. Because Sonny Rabot heard about it, and he put me on NTA, the network service. The whole of Nigeria was watching. He put me on AIT. The people were watching. And that was when I started getting invitation to speak outside of Lagos. Because people were like, what kind of human being is this, right? That a lot of you want to be on television without a vision. Television is televised vision. That you must do something with your life that is powerful and inspirational that the TV station will come and televise. TV stations are looking for content. Your content, your vision is the content. If you don't create your vision and it's not unique enough, there will be nothing to televise. You will need to pay them. I was on radio. I wrote for this day newspaper for 10 years. I didn't have to pay for a column. They were the ones who were even begging me, Praise, we should be paying you, but we can't pay you. So I was writing for free. Every time I've been on TV, I never had to pay. I have the content, come and televise it, right? In fact, I did a press release sometime when I was doing Valentine with prostitutes, right? And I just went to drop the letter at Channel Television. They called me to say, Praise, we are coming, right? So you must have a content that is worthy of being televised. Don't just be an embarrassment and be begging. When you have nothing that is news, not newsworthy, is when you begin to beg. I was on radio for about 6 years, running on 2 radio stations for free, because radio stations need content. So all the excuse that is because I don't have money, that's why they don't televise me, is rubbish, hogwash, right? Find something inspiring that they and justify why they need to televise it or why they need to give you a space. They will give you a space. So you need to find out what is your desire. What gets you upset the most is a pointer to what you are created to solve. Now, if you can still not find yourself along those 3, desire, delivery, and discovery, then find someone who is going somewhere with his life and go and queue up behind him to serve him. Because service can also take you to your future. You are sure this person is going somewhere, but the person must be selfless, he must be secure. Because if you serve someone who is not secure, if you serve someone who is not selfless, it's going to make you a slave for the rest of your life. Now, when people come to me, the goal of mentorship is not for you to become me. The goal of mentorship is for you to become you. So my job is to form you to become you. All my mentees, they don't sound like me, they don't look like me, they think like me though. But they are doing, some of them are watching now. They are doing several things with their life. I have never tried to get them off their life to come and live my life. No, that will be manipulation. Any mentor into a clone of himself is a tormentor, right? Is a colonial master, right? You must not be colonized. The goal of mentoring is formation, where you are formed to be yourself, not to become your mentor or to take the life of your mentor, that you are now trying to sound like him, you are trying to dress like him, I see that, and it's an embarrassment to God, because the best you can be of another person is either a clone or a photocopy, right? You need to be authentic in yourself, speak like you, sound like you, think like, I wrote a book. Those days I used to follow Dr. Miles, when I started following Dr. Miles, before I met him, I wrote a book and I went to give it to one of my instructors. He read it. He said, Praise, this is not you. This is Dr. Miles Moreau. Go and become yourself. Good advice. I have to go and write the book to sound like me. There is no glory in I sound like. No, sound like you. So that other people can say, I'm sounding like you too, right? The goal of mentoring is formation. Don't let people manipulate you, manipulate your life, colonize your life, and turn you into a money-making machine for themselves. right? The goal must be to establish you in your field. Now, if you are reasonable, if you have a mentor like that, then you owe him the gift of honor. Whatever you give to him, right, is appreciation. He doesn't have to demand it. It's appreciation for having an authentic mentor. Let me tell you, not many people can find authentic mentor. Mentors, they keep their trade secret from their mentees. All my mentees, my life is an open book. They can tell you things about me that nobody will even share, right? Because I don't even want anybody to be running after me. No, I have children, 2 children to raise already, right? So why will I now colonize people's life? I don't have that. I don't have the need to be liked. I don't have the need to be followed. I don't have all those kind of needs at all. It's not in my life that 10,000 people are following me. I don't have that need at all. I'm still working hard, right? So today, I hope I've helped you by showing you how to find your calling. The secret of every top business, every high flyer, is diligence. Diligence. If you check China, Chinese people are very diligent. Japanese people are diligent. UAE is diligent. Germans are diligent. Then you can see what their nation has become like. Let me end up this way. When the axe is blunt, frustration becomes an ally, but skills bring massive success. When the axe is blunt, becomes your family member, but skills brings massive success. That you need to sharpen your skill, become skillful. Talent is not enough. Talent is not enough. Become skillful. You are paid for your skill, not for your talent. Everybody can play free kick. Not everyone can bend it like Beckham. Everyone can race football. Not everyone can score like Ronaldo. You are paid for your skill. Skill is processed talent. Maybe I'll talk about skills tomorrow on minding your business. This is level 2, right? Finding your calling. Tomorrow, I'll try and talk about how talent is overrated. Don't dwell it. Don't get excited. I'm talented. Build your talent into skill. The process of skill will take your life away. It's the process of gymming. You're almost going to die, but you give it your all. You sharpen your edge. That everywhere in the world, when you speak, I tell people, and this is not pride, that the place people struggle to understand me is in Africa. And I've learned by experience. The places people struggle to understand me is Africa. When I travel to go and deliver a seminar abroad, I'm at home. I'm at home effortlessly. I am delivering, right? Africa, I have to step it down a little bit because, people will just call you all kinds of names. They will think that you're an extremist or blah, blah, blah. So, which is why what I'm sharing right now, is a serious risk because some people can misquote, misunderstand, and say maybe I don't want people to follow God, or I don't want them to go to their faith house. That's not the idea. I'm a Christian, I go to church, right? I still read my Bible. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that, can you even think like a human being? Supernatural means the extra over natural. Can you maximize natural before you bring the super, right? Some people have not even they have not interfaced with natural. They want to enter supernatural. Right? Why do you need supernatural when you have not maximized the natural? The natural has produced car. You have not produced car. What can supernatural produce? Teleporting. Right? So many things that we call supernatural has been made natural right now, which means God is progressive. So you can see Elon Musk. He said we have colonized Earth. Let us go and colonize Mars. That is the thinking of the divine, right? But you have not even colonized your bedroom, right? You now talk about, you want to kill all the witches. Your job is not to kill witches. Just install electricity, find their level. They will know that you don't belong to their carcass, right? With these few points of mine, I hope I've been able to convince you and not to confuse you that it's in your interest to find your business and focus on your business, mind your business, because I tell people, never go for mentoring until you have found your place. If you don't find your place and you go for mentoring, you are likely going to end up being a slave because you are going to be enslaved. I hope this has helped someone. We'll see again tomorrow when we come again and we begin to talk about skills again in minding your business. It's in the Mind Your Business series. Thank you very much. I love you all. I celebrate you. You are a savior. I am a savior. Let us go ahead today and save our world. And please don't forget, respect everyone. Honor everyone. Don't be rude. Build. With what you are hearing, don't puff yourself up, right? Install love so that love can build. We are going somewhere. All of us are going to become saviors to global problems. I honor you. I deeply appreciate you. Have a fantastic day. Bye-bye.